Hi, brothers and sisters. I hope you are doing well. I actually just got out of my prayer closet and I am going to take you guys to something. I'm going to leave you guys just on this screen, okay? I'm actually going to share with you a dream that I had. And although it was very personal, it was actually for the bride of Christ, because it wasn't just, even though it was me in the dream and then the Lord interpreted it, is a message for everybody. So back some years ago, I worked at a women's shelter, and it was a domestic violence shelter. I worked third shift. It was women who were running and hiding from domestic violence from their partners. And so I worked there from like 2013 until the Lord had me quit in like 2000 and I believe it was 2016, I do believe. And it was 2012 to 2016. And I really did like my job. It was just always third shift. Ended up being pay deduction. When I started the job in 2012, I was actually making $8.40 or $8.60 or something like that. And then minimum wage went up to 8 something. And they never raised me above that. So I went from making above minimum wage to making minimum wage. And then there was just a bunch of other things that, being the third shift and stuff. So anyways, not important. So in this dream, I was at the women's shelter. I wasn't working there, but I wasn't living there. But I was like going into it was different. It was like in a building that kind of reminded me of the building that you see. It reminded me of like a school building on the inside, and there was like a room when you walk in and you turn to left. There's a room there on the right hand side, and there you can go in there, and it's like a bunch of clothing that was donated. And I was like, if I was to work there, I wouldn't be able to go in there and have access to getting any clothing because it's for the people who live there. Right. So, but I was able to go in there. I was looking through clothing. I wasn't really finding anything. I did find one coat that I thought was really cute, but I put it on and I just looked really, really big. And I'm like, oh, this isn't going to do. So I ended up not getting it. And then there was like this part in there where I was like, oh, I was somewhere where there was a little refrigerator, and I seen a bunch of like different fruit flavored type of like whipped cream toppings in the can, like strawberry and raspberry and cherry, like it was like whipped topping in the can that you could spray. And I'm like, oh, it made me think of making a smoothie. So I then was like, went into this other room, which I consider just a snack room, and the women's center had a snack room. It's just a place where there was like a refrigerator and a counter and a sink, and then it had cupboards so that the kitchen was only open for like dinner and to be cleaned. And then after that, the kitchen would be closed. You only had the snack room where you can go in and have snacks, and they would put like leftover food in there from dinner and stuff like that. And so I was in a room like that, and I was looking in there for stuff to make a smoothie. And I was friends with some of the girls there. There was a girl, she was a white girl, and she had asked if she could have some of the smoothie when I made it. She could have half of it, and I said yeah. And then there was a colored girl that was there. She had long black braided hair, and I remember like her and I were getting along real well. And I was thinking, man, her and I should get an apartment together. Our kids get along. And I don't know, that was just like a quick second thought that came to me. And then I don't believe that I ever made a smoothie, although I was looking. I remember the thought of like seeing grapes and strawberries and stuff like that, but I don't think I ever made it. And then I ended up going into a big room, and I was talking to some of the girls, and I was talking about how I wanted to stay, but I wanted to go home. I was like torn on what I wanted to do, but it was like, I felt like it was starting to get a little late, that I should probably get ready and go home. So I was collecting everything that I needed, to take with me. And I remember reaching my back pocket. Yep, I had my phone. I ended up getting at some point getting a coat or something, because I remember picking it up and saying that it was a coat and putting it on my arm, and then I realized that my cat was there. And what's really interesting is this is the second dream where I took my cat. The other one was a dream I think I told you guys about. I took my cat. She was at church. And so I don't know if the Lord just let her be in my dream, because I really love my cat. And so my cat was in my dream. So I had like grabbed her and I was heading out the door, and one of the girls stopped me to ask me about this fundraiser, about supporting her fundraiser or something. So I was like letting her talk, and then the cat must have jumped out of my arms, and I wasn't paying attention because I was listening to her. I go to walk out the door, and then I remembered, oh, I don't have my cat. So I turn around and I seen the cat laying on the floor. She was like laying on this purse, and to me, like the thought was like, oh, somebody had just dropped the purse. They got it from the clothing room, and they must have just dropped it, and she was laying on it. So I went and picked her up, and then I carried her outside, and we went outside, and there was even steps, as you see in this picture. But when you come down where you see the brown on each side, it was really tall, and it was like a circle. It was like you see the green bushes in front of it. So it was like that, but it was like things were taller, and I think there was something in the middle, so it was like wider. And I was thinking about, as I came down the stairs, okay, where did I park? And I'm like, okay, I parked to the right side. And so I was like, I'm going to need to cross the road. My car's parked over there. Well, then, as I'm thinking about that, here comes this guy walking up, and he had 3 dogs. And I'm like thinking, oh, I hope these dogs don't notice my cat, because I don't want to deal with that. Well, and then next thing you know, I like felt something. There was like this dog that was a terrier. What are them called? Like, um, the terriers, they're the ones that jump really high, and uh, they're like, I don't know, I don't really want to call them toy terriers, but I don't know if you've seen the cartoon movie Pets, but the terrier that is in that, it looked just like that one, not cartoonish, obviously. But it jumped up, it was on my arm, and it had jumped up and bit my cat's tongue, and it was just like sitting there. And so I grabbed the hand that I had, I was able to use, and I got my cat's tongue out of its mouth and knocked it down. My cat was just like, what in the world? And knocked it down, and then the other dogs began to like notice, because that caused the dogs to look. So then the dogs like started, jumping up and stuff. So I remember putting my cat above my head and holding her. And then anyways, it calmed down, and I told the man, I said, if you can't control 3 dogs, then maybe you shouldn't have 3 dogs. And then I woke up. So because I remembered such details of these dreams, I took it to the Lord. So I just got in my prayer closet, and he surely did interpret it. He surely did. Surely did interpret it for me. So what he was showing me is, when you look at the whole situation with the women's shelter is a shelter that you go to seek protection from somebody being able to hurt you. So the Lord was showing me that those who abide in him, those who are his, we are protected by him. Even my cat ran free. So I don't know, say maybe my cat's protected too. Because it was me and my cat, and even my cat was running free in the school. Like, she was not contained anywhere. She wasn't in anything. She was just running free. She was fine. And, I was like, I felt like I didn't live there, but I didn't work there. So I was just free. I was free to go and do what I want and eat what I want and get what I want. I was just free to whatever was in there. I had access to everything. And so he was showing me that his protection, like we're like in his presence, we're in her presence, and we're abiding in him. It's like protection at a women's shelter. We're protected. And then he was showing me that when you get outside of that, though, that's when the attacks come, because I walked outside of the building, and then my cat was attacked. And so, and in essence, I was attacked. And so I felt like the Lord was interpreting this as when we abide in his presence, we have his protection. We are protected. We can roam free. Because we abide in him. We are his. And then I remember he said something to me about, you remember, I told you not one hair on your head will be touched before I come to get you. So then he was reminding me of that as I was getting out of my prayer closet. That was what he left me with. So, he gave me this dream, and then he reminded me that we would be protected, that I would be protected as long as I continue to abide in him. So I wanted to go ahead and share this because, like I said, it's not just for me. If you are spending time with the Lord, consider yourself, this dream that I shared, put yourself in that predicament. It's not just me. Put yourself in the shoes of me being in this women's shelter where I was protected and I got to roam free and I got to do whatever I wanted. I got to take the benefits of everything. I was protected and sheltered by him. When I walked out of that, when I stepped out of his protection, is when you try to do things on your own, is when you're like, don't go days without reading the word, stay covered in prayer, stay seeking him, stay in your word daily, stay talking to him, stay prayed up, stay just seeking him. That's how you stay in his protection. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go. I have another video I might end up doing, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it today. I will let you guys know. All right, everybody, I'm going to figure out how to try to end this, and then I'm going to go ahead and